Hello and welcome to Wrestle Talk with the Rat Beaver. And joining me is the alpha male himself, the leader of the pack, the monster from Maryville. He is the strongest man alive. It is Hunter Wolfe. He is with me. And if you challenge him, he'll make sure you're at the bottom of the pack. Hunter, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Joe. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful. We have not seen each other for a long time since Smoky Mountain Pro and School of Morton was running. So I know you've got a lot of stuff that's been going on in your world. But first and foremost, I want you to address some allegations that were made about you by trash bag wrestlers. I want to know what your thoughts are, especially since they're saying that you're trying to be a wannabe in professional wrestling. And we know that not to be true because we worked very closely with you at the School of Morton and at Smoky Mountain Pro. And we got to see firsthand that you were about real business.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, and we can just get right past this. The internet wrestling community is full of a bunch of people. I hate using the word toxic community, but let's be honest. You've seen it. I've seen it. A lot of people like saying, "Oh, this is wrong. This person sucks. This person should be doing this. This person should be doing that." I've been doing this ever since before I was an adult, actually. And I've had plenty travel experience. So, I've worked on TV. I used to work for Burt Prentice, did national TV there, came when it was still School of Morton, and did TV style tapings for Lisa and James. Whatever. It's wrestling. I'm a grown adult. We like having fun doing it. If somebody gets offended or wants to get all riled up because they didn't like what I did, okay. I still got another booking, so see you, man.
I think a lot of it comes from jealousy. I think a lot of people out there are jealous of the fact that you don't look the part, but you play the part very well. And they're jealous that because you aren't what they want to see as a professional wrestler, that they're going to try to trash you any way they can. And I'm going to be the first one to say, just because you're a bodybuilder, just because you're huge and you got multiple state records in powerlifting, but just because you have that beneath your belt and they don't have that, I think there's a sense of jealousy with the community as well.
I feel like there's always a jealousy. It runs rampant throughout the wrestling, Even I'm guilty of it. I was like, hey, that guy's getting some opportunities I wish I had, but, at the end of the day, they're getting it. I'm not. You can only do so much at the end of the day. So if somebody's jealous because I'm making it and they're not, okay, get over it. Because I tell myself that, just get over it. If somebody wants to be a wrestler and they're a failed wrestler and now they want to take it out on somebody else, that's on them, not on me.
Well, I'm a failed wrestler. I'll be the first one to tell you. I'll tell you exactly what Harley Race told me. He told me it'd be a cold day in hell before I got in the ring, his ring again. So I'm going to be the first one to tell you, there's going to be lots of people who don't see what you see in somebody else and they don't see what I see in you. And they are jealous because they don't have what it takes to compete on that level. The difference between people like us and people like them is instead of griping and complaining about it, we try to uplift others in any way that we can while we're in the ring with them, whether it's destroying them one-on-one or whether it's just talking about them in a better light and putting them over with the crowd. There's always an element that you can get involved in professional wrestling where you don't have to be toxic or destructive to another employee of a company. So that's my take on it.
And like you said, I'm revealing the curtain again, screw kayfabe. You and I have both worked at SOM. I have no problem putting new guys over if they deserve it. They're getting a spot.
Yeah.
I'll make them look good. I don't care. That's what I'm going to do.
Absolutely. But in the same sense, that if it's going to be something that's bad for business, you'd be the first one to speak up. I don't think it's going to happen. Or if somebody's trying to put you in a dangerous spot to hurt you intentionally, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be, is you should be able to communicate freely with whoever you're in the ring with and also the promoter on any level and let them know, hey, we might need to just tweak or change this. Or if you have a booker or an agent for your match, just talk to them and just tweak or change some problems that are coming up and arising. And that kind of leads me back to where we were at with the wrestling community. I think that a lot of people, because they can't they have the opinions built inside them that they're better than what they are. And I don't see that happening with you. I don't see you in 20 years becoming an internet troll and just going,
There you
oh,
go. Kind of cut out.
this, you know? All right. So, Hunter, we've got a lot to go over. I mean, we haven't seen each other since Smoky Mountain Pro. I know that you have been on a tear with explosive pro wrestling with TPW, and also you've been working. I believe it's Tennessee Legacy Wrestling and some SNU. So, tell us all about it. Get us involved. What's been going on in your world? I think I've lost him. Hunter, are you with me? I believe I've lost him. Here he comes. Hunter,
Oh, there we go. Now I hear you. Now I hear you.
So sorry about that.
There it is. There it is. Okay, now we're back.
What I was saying, it's been a long time since we have been inside the ring together and worked at a show together since Smoky Mountain Pro. And you've moved on. You've been at TPW, you've been at SNU, you've been at Tennessee Legacy Wrestling, you've been at Explosive Pro Wrestling. Just get us caught up in what's going on in your world.
Well, before I even came to SOM, Smoky Mountain Pro, I was already doing like TPW. That's my home fed. That's where my trainer got me in. That's where, I help run, help book. I was already doing TLW. I was already at SNU. The only real new promotion I picked up recently is in South Carolina, Explosive Pro Wrestling. Other than that, in my real life, get married, about to have a kid, all that exciting stuff. Going to be from, go from the alpha male to the alpha daddy. So
that's right. That's a shirt right there. You should on a shirt, the alpha daddy.
Alpha daddy.
That's a good shirt, baby. So, hey, man, that's very exciting. Yeah, I'm very happy you're going to get to experience a lot of new stuff. I was married once before I married Casera. It worked out for about 6.5 years. And then the last 2 years were extremely rough and it just didn't work from there. And I know that marriage has a lot of challenges. It has a lot of things that involved, but it seems like you two are really meant for each other and you two can really break the mold. And especially with this brand new baby coming, you've got yourself a little pack here now.
Yeah.
Get him a pack. So,
and she does great. My fiance, wife, whatever you want to call her, she does me great. She keeps track of the merch sales. She makes sure we have hotels. She makes sure we can make our bookings on time. She doesn't do the whole in-ring part, and she gets upset if I get busted open. But other than that, she's fully invested, and she's part of the show too, in a way.
Hey, and that's the way it needs to be. Casera does everything for us. Whenever we travel, we go on the road. She makes sure that we're there on time. She makes sure we got our hotel, and it is just a blessing in general whenever you have somebody that's like that in your life to be in your corner and to back you for anything that's going on. So that's super exciting, Hunter Wolfe. I mean, it's awesome to say the least. And I can't tell you how excited I am that you're going to get to experience this new chapter and experience it while wrestling and also holding down everything that you're already doing. I mean, powerlifting. I mean, you're a powerlifting champion. Tell us all about it. Tell us how you got started and where you're at now.
So originally, I wasn't planning to be a powerlifter. I started working out because I wanted to look better in the ring. I had a ring, but I wanted to, put on mass. If you look at earlier stuff of me, I'm not ashamed of it. I was very flabby. I was like 400 pounds of just fat. And I wasn't proud of myself, So I started taking my health more seriously. Back to the TPW stuff, we started training this guy. He was already a powerlifter. Now, there's a difference between bodybuilding and powerlifting. I fell more in love with the powerlifting stuff because, big weights. But each one comes with its own benefits and whatnot.
Oh, absolutely.
So he wanted to start training. I got a gym membership, and he happened to be powerlifting at that gym. So we made a trade-off. I won't charge you for wrestling training. You don't charge me for powerlifting training. And one thing led to another. He got out of powerlifting. He started being my tattoo artist. So we saw that close connection. He's done several of my pieces on me. JC Blake, High Priestess Tattoo. If you ever go check him out, he's a great guy. But yeah, and I started falling in love with powerlifting, and I was like, huh. And I started doing more research, and I went to a semester in college. I ain't gonna lie to you, but after doing the whole powerlifting deal, If I had to go back to college, I'm doing it for muscle growth and development. If I were to go back, because I already set my mind to that, because I did my own experience myself. No enhancements. I promise. All my competitions I've done clean. We get piss tested and all that stuff. But yeah, I've just one thing led to another. I was like, huh, this is heavy. And I started working towards it. I was like, now it's getting lighter. And I just started falling in love with how far can I push this? How strong can I possibly be? And it got to the point where even the owners of my gym have said, hey, you need to stop using this machine or you need to stop using this equipment. It's not meant to hold that much weight.
You're breaking the machines. That's
Oh,
awesome.
it's so I'll say this. Because I'm a very large person, I have very large wingspan. When I do squats and whatnot, I don't fit underneath a traditional bar. So at my gym, we have a super squatter, which just puts the pads over your shoulder and it mimics the same movement of a squat. Uh, it holds like if I'm doing like Olympic sizers or the thinnest plates at 45 pounds piece, I think it goes up to 900 pounds.
Oh, wow.
I squatted that. I was like, I can do more. I went, found a chain, found two 25-pound plates that had holes through them, fed the chain through both plates, somehow MacGyvered it around the machine, making it a little, just the weights alone, not counting the chain, 950 pounds. And I said, I'm going to do it. And I had my buddies there. I was like, listen, if things go to crap, don't worry about me. Pull the weights off so I can stand up. And I went all the way down and all the way back up. And like, I call it a second rep, which means I can do a whole lot more weight than that if I'm not struggling. If it's 1 second down, up, I can do a whole lot more. And after the gym owner saw the video of me doing that, he's like, that's not supposed to hold that much weight. Don't do that much weight again.
That's great. We had a competitor out here. Spotlight Scotty Brooks is in the house, and he says, "What's your max bench?"
So my max bench isn't as impressive as it may seem. I haven't done a max bench in like almost a year, but I maxed out at like 375, I want to say.
Well, that's still impressive to somebody like me because I was doing like 225 at my max. So for somebody like me, that's extremely impressive.
Well, I'm at a disadvantage there. I have long arms. Being tall is not the greatest advantage at some lifts, but great at other lifts. Like deadlifts for me, because that's my go-to deadlift. I love deadlifts because they're the most grueling lift you can do between the big three, which is bench, squat, deadlift. Deadlift is my go-to. They're the only ones that allow me to compete in that because they don't have a squat rack high enough for me, and they're not confident enough to catch me on bench. So I do only deadlifts. But yeah, because long arms, mass over time and all that stuff, a lot of math and physics. It's harder to get up weight, but I think 375 is a pretty decent weight. Of course, I love to do 405. There's a whole thing, I guess you call it a meme around lifting. Once you get 225, then you're wondering how long is it going to take me to get 315. You're like, but what about 405? And you just keep, it's like chasing an addiction. And it's just slowly getting there. Same thing with wrestling.
Yeah,
Wrestling can be an addiction.
well, yeah, that's what I was about to kind of go into. Just like bodybuilding is, wrestling can be a complete addiction when you're inside the ring, and you can get completely lost in everything that you're doing behind the scenes and also in front of other people. Is there a match that sticks out in your mind that you've had within the whole time that you've been together that you got completely lost and just completely enamored by what was going on and who you were in the ring with?
So I can't think of one, but I mainly stick to a set of rules, only playing three things. Like, once again, revealing the curtain, only playing three things in my matches. So whatever happens, I can always go back to that. But over time, because I don't like doing, a lot of people call them spot monkeys. If you're doing a whole bunch of spots, you guys make it work, cool. I'm not going to be able to remember 45 things in a match. And play it back to you perfectly, but I can remember a handful of things. So as long as I can remember a handful of things, of course, I'll just go back to that. It's like, where are we going from here? And we'll talk it out.
And with you going from one spot to another, I know that there's times sometimes where you're inside the ring and it seems like things are getting lost. How do you refocus those moments to bring them back to where they need to be?
I'd say that one's just stick to your. For me personally, I can't, like I said, I can't remember an exact moment where I've been completely lost. Uh, Mainly because stick to my rule, and usually I'm the one that's guiding the matches at this point. Like I said, I've been doing this over 10 years now. I don't call myself a veteran. I'll call myself a pro, I guess you'd say. So I'm usually wrestling guys who've been in less experience than I am. So I'm guiding them through the matches when they get lost. So I'm always bringing it back to like, hey, remember this, go here. You know, but that all comes down to experience, training, and your own. What are you capable of? I guess you'd say learn your own boundaries, so you can always go back to them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think one of the first times I stepped inside the ring and I was extremely nervous. Only did maybe 6 to 8 weeks worth of training at the time and stepped inside the ring, Hunter. And first match, you always get butterflies. You're always nervous about things. And I forgot a spot, a drop down leapfrog, come back up, drop kick, fall, either roll out of the ring or roll to the apron. But I forgot where I was at and missed the entire spot. Just, I forgot to drop down, forgot to get back up, forgot to take the drop kick. And, I got pulled to the side and was told a lot about it. Hey, kid, don't worry about it. You're young, you're going to get better. You're always going to have something come up and arise. But I also got those who are, what the hell are you doing at my show? Why did you blah, 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 blah? Is there a time where you've just had to hold your peace and take what's been given to you by somebody else when you've messed up?
Yeah, of course. Uh, the first time I wrestled my trainer solo, I hit him a little too hard with a move. It was a finish. Don't get me wrong. I hit him with the finisher, 1, 2, 3 after that, and I heard him as soon as he hit the mail. Oh God! So we get to the back, and he pulls me aside. He goes, "I'm not going to chew you out too much because it was the finish. But for the love of God, if that's going to be your finish, you better learn how to do it softly." And after that, I was like, all right, if I'm going to do big guy moves, I better make them look good. But in wrestling, it's all set. We got to keep each other safe. It's a business. I got places to be. I got to make money.
Right.
My opponent's got places to be. He or she's got to make money,
Absolutely.
So it's all just a combination of both. So I want to be safe. I want you to be safe. So.
And the biggest thing is if we're not safe, nobody makes money. Nobody is able to move on, and we lose money that way. If we hurt somebody, and just like I know, when we were at the School of Martin, we got to see Santiago,
Santiago.
Santiago. He tore his elbow up. He tore his elbow and his shoulder up, and really hurt himself pretty bad. It put him on the shelf for a long period of time, and you could tell it was burning him up on the inside. But he blamed himself. And the hardest part about it is sometimes accidents do happen, and it's nothing that you did or it's nothing that I did that we felt was wrong, but it just happened. Our body, over time, our bodies wear out. We're not able to do things the way that we used to do anymore. Are you worried that there's going to be a time where your body wears out and gives out on you and you're not going to be able to perform anymore? And when that time comes, what are you going to be able to do?
We're so worried about that time. Little detail. I've fractured my left ankle training and wrestling twice. I've dislocated my knees before. I've landed wrong on my shoulder once. And, the worst bump I ever took, I would say this. A lot of matches can be clusters, and a lot of untrained people are trying to look cool and all that stuff. That's a lot of times where people get hurt. The worst bump I ever took was a ladder match. I was about 2/3 up on the ladder, fighting the guy at the top. Guy wanted to look cool, so he drop kicked the ladder with both of us on top of it.
Oh no.
We missed the ring and went straight towards the concrete floor. And I don't recall how the other person landed, but I remember I laid out there and I woke up and was like, where am I? You know, uh, that's probably the worst bump I ever took. But yeah, accidents happen. I remember one time at the school of Morton, I was wrestling Condry, and we did a spot. I don't remember how we got into it, but I remember I fell and he tripped, hitting the ropes, and he fell back and landed across my ankle, and I felt my ankle just, you know, I knew it was. I have a fractured ankle. There ain't nothing, and we have a 12-minute match, and we're 3 minutes into it.
Mm.
Luckily, I've been in it long enough. I can work around it. He'd been in it long enough. True professional, And we just worked the match around it. And I went to the back, took off my boot. My ankle was like
Swollen.
that big around, and I was like, I ain't doing another match tonight, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I've had that happen as well with my ankle. Where it's been swollen. It's been like this big before, and the hardest thing is they tell you rest, ice, compress, elevate for anything that goes on, but when it's broken, it's hard to put any pressure back on it at all. Touching it, moving it, it really takes either that little wheelie or the crutches to get you where you need to go, and unfortunately, that's just a bad place to be. And it puts you on the shelf for a short period of time. You can't make money. You can't do anything. So, and you got to look at it. You got to look at it like this. There's accidents that happen, and sometimes it's just not the other person's fault. Sometimes it's just the freak accident that happened. But if you ever get to a point to where there's somebody that's intentionally trying to hurt you, it's time to call it. You do whatever you got to do to get home and get out of there, right?
Yeah, and I've been in those situations too. Similar moment. I realized this guy doesn't know what he's doing. So I was in this match. I'll do this. In this match, this guy's been there a while. He has one of their belts. I'm like, cool. He knows what he's doing. He's got this manager deal. We get around. Manager hooks my arms. He runs over, goes for a punch, hits me right in the nose, busts my nose open. I go livid, and I drop him. His manager realized I was hurting his boy, and I told him, if you get in this ring, I'm going to hurt you too.
Well,
And then what made it even funnier, or I guess in a way, is match ends, go to the back. I go to the restroom. There was a restroom in the walker room. I clean up. He walks back there with his manager, and in my mind, I'm like, we're about to throw down in the bathroom. So I take off my shirt, throw it across the room, and go, what do you want? He goes, and his manager goes, dang, man, that's the third nose you busted in the past 3 weeks. And guy goes, I swear I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and sometimes just accidents happen, and that in that case, you have to, like you said, you're ready to go. You're ready to get hot in the back because you feel like it's about to come back to you. But when it's an accident, it's an accident. When it's a true accident, it's a true accident. And sometimes you just
there's some people who need to be trained more.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's people who just need to be trained. I'll say that there's a lot of people who've been in there a while and they like running their mouth talking like they're God's gift of wrestling, and they don't know a headlock takeover. They don't know how to do an arm drag. They don't know any of this stuff. I trained for a year straight before I had my first match. A year.
Wow.
And some of these guys are like lacing up their boots before they even train. They already have a name. They already have a gimmick. Their music picked out. I was like, I didn't have this. I started off with a group, and there was like, I want to say 8 or 9 of us. After 2 months of training, it was me and one guy. After the 3rd month, it was just me. Like, we got the crap beat out of us. And there's a lot of guys that have been in longer than I have, and they talk about all the days kids don't know what it's like to bump on concrete. I do. I know what it's like to work a 10-hour shift at work, go into wrestling training, do another 5 hours, and then go home. And then wake up and do it all over again. I was doing like 5 days a week for 5 hours of training.
Wow, that's really good.
I mean, it's And that I thank Matt Raby for that because he put up with me because when I was the only person there, he showed up and me and him worked. Sometimes he'd bring guys around like Smiley and Cadillac Cowboy and those guys, and they all influenced me in one way or another. But yeah, when I was coming up, I had to earn it because I wasn't paying for training. I supplied a building, but I had to earn my training because I couldn't afford it.
Right. And there's a lot of people who are in the same situation and they don't know where to go or what to do. And, you know, we always try to point people to the right direction, try to get them involved in some credible training schools, credible places that they can go. But sometimes, and I'm going to say it, even though it's the dirty word, sometimes you start in the backyard. Sometimes you start in the grocery store, but you got to start somewhere. And that's the thing is you got to go and continue learning. You can't just stay there and say, well, the backyard training is all I'm going to need, because you're going to meet somebody one day and they're going to be like, kid, you got to get out of this business if you're not willing to learn anything, if you're not willing to move forward.
And that's even what my trainer said because he didn't think of himself as a trainer. I was his, I guess you say, first student, right? After a while working with him, he's like, man, I can't teach you no more. You need to find with someone else. You know, I then went out, I started doing seminars for like Dr. Tom. I did seminars for Luke Gallows, Scott Demore. I mean, the EC3 seminar. I've done training camps for Dr. Tom, Les Thatcher training camp. And, these were like days of working with these guys. And I was never fortunate enough to be able to afford like full on like classes, but I put everything I could in the showing up to training camps, showing up to seminars, doing whatever I can to get that little bit of knowledge. It's a little bit stuff. It's the putting in the effort. And I believe this too. When I wasn't wrestling, I was still training. I spent my hard-earned money and buying tickets to shows at least an hour away, watching wrestling shows, figuring out who's good and who's not, paying attention to them, studying them, see why they're getting over and why this guy ain't getting over. And through my influences with my trainer, got into those shows in the locker room so I could talk to those people one-on-one and, network my way into figuring more stuff out. I feel like that's a good way. You got to be humble, especially early on. You can't be showboaty. You can't be like, I'm going to be the next greatest wrestler in this world. I don't know what I'm doing. I want you to tell me what I need to do type stuff.
And it goes a lot, it makes your career last a lot longer, and you'll go a lot farther if you just are humble and just talk. That's the big thing is there's nobody in this business that is too big to talk to, no matter what they say, no matter who they are. If they are too big to talk to, they're too big for you to be around. That's all there is to it. Is everybody that I've met wants you to do better, wants us to get better in somehow, some way. And they're willing to invest. Like you said, going to these seminars, they're willing to invest and train and try to be there and show you if it's just something small. So, we broke in the television side of it. We got through by traveling and putting out chairs and cleaning toilets and selling tickets. And we eventually worked into something like this, doing radio and doing other things. Since, I broke my back in 2020, I'm not cleared to wrestle. I've got 2 slip discs and a broken back on the bottom of the L3 and L4. But since that's happened, we've worked our way into other avenues in wrestling, but we did it by using the connections that we had and just using our mouth and using video. And so I don't take it lightly that you say, even when you weren't wrestling, you were training, because you really were. Because even though I'm not wrestling, I consider everything we do a training session. Everything we do for the business is something that's going to help us later on in the future, whether it's just taking a few pictures, whether it's making sure that we've got video footage of a certain wrestler, whether it's talking to somebody like this, because everything that you do is actually training. This is promo work, whether you believe it or not. You're promoing yourself. And there's a lot of people who take it for granted.
Because I sucked at promos when I first started. I had no clue. I'd stuttered through. And then it was mainly Scott from, SOM who's like, realized I was trying to get more into talking. And I started talking to him. I was like, Scott, just hand me the mic and let me go. And then tell me how bad I did after. And that's eventually I forced myself to learn how to talk better, It's like there's no way to do it but to do it.
So Dr. Tom, I don't know if he still does this, but he used to do it. He used to have a promo day. It used to be Tuesdays when we were at his school. And he had like a potato that he was going to say, it's your microphone. This is your microphone. He'd give you a potato and he'd go, 1, 2, potato, go. And he'd throw it at you and you catch it. And you just have to come up with it off the top of your head. And if you had it, you had it. But if you didn't, he'd take that potato away from you and send you to the back of the line until you got something to say. And so, that was a real great blessing going to those training sessions and doing things like that, because when we moved into something like this, it became second nature. When we started calling matches, it became second nature to us because we were just able to put ourselves in that position to constantly, no matter what's going on, let me find out who you are. Let me find out what your finishing move is. And let me see how you wrestle and learn the names of each hold that you're doing, each move that you're doing. And we're going to throw on a good match. We're going to make sure that you look good no matter what. And it doesn't matter who it is. We try to do the best for everybody, Hunter. It doesn't matter if it's Christian Lee or if it's going to be EC3. We're going to throw the same commentary on somebody. We're going to give them the same video footage. We're going to make sure that they all look good and look together. We're not looking for people who don't know what they're doing. We want to make you look like you know what you're doing. So, because everything you do in this business is about making money. It's about you being able to be marketable in another area. So if Kansas City Heartland Championship Wrestling might be watching this right now, they might see you directly and they might want to know what you're about and they might want to know who you are and they might look at your page from here. And so that's where we're coming in. Is our job is to make everybody else look good and make the indie professional wrestling look good, because there's a lot of great people in indie professional wrestling and they don't get the help that they need. And Hunter, we believe in you 100%. I believe in you 100%. And I believe that you're going to be moving forward in this business. You're very humble. You're very kind. You're nice enough to pull somebody aside and say, hey, I need to talk to you for a minute. Let me smarten you up. Let me tell you this. You know how many people have done that to me since we've entered in 2002? 3 people have done that to me. You did it to me. Aaron Stevens has done it to me. And Papa Joe has done it to me. You were the only 3 people that have pulled me aside and said, hey, I need to smarten you up on something. The rest of it is we've got to figure it out as we're going, so. Yeah. And I respect the hell out of that, And
a lot of people take offense to being smartened up. Like,
no,
a lot of new guys, like if you're going up, it's like, hey, I know what you're trying to do out there, but it sucked. A lot of people take offense to that. And then they're like, oh, I don't like this guy no more. But a lot of times it's like, we know what we're talking about. That didn't work. Don't do it again.
Right.
I can't tell you how many, you've been there back in the locker room, back at SOM, Smoky Mountain Pro. A lot of the newer guys that, were learning from there, I was like, be back there. I was like, hey, you don't do that again, or like do this to fix yourself,
Oh, yeah.
Our guys would take offense to it, like think, oh, Hunter's being mean. And then some of the guys who've been there long enough, it's like, he's telling you the truth to make you look better. I was like, eventually, it's like, you want me to tell you the truth or you want me to lie to you, This sucked. This looked good, though. Keep doing this. Don't be doing that.
The hard part is if you lie to people, if you're lying to them on a consistent basis, eventually they start believing their lies. And then when they get the actual spotlight spot with somebody who really knows what they're doing, it turned, and I hate to say this because we've been on both sides of the camera, but it turns out looking like a trash match. Mm-hmm. And you've got to be on. Sometimes, look, that's the problem in this generation now is there's no honesty anymore because people are too afraid to hurt people's feelings. Harley was never afraid to hurt my feelings. He was never afraid. I told you earlier, he told me it was going to be a cold day in hell before I got back in the ring. And he meant it. Like he absolutely 100% meant, don't you get in that ring. You touch that ring. You try to do anything inside that ring and we're going to put you out of this building. That's how he was. But on the flip side of this is he did it in such a way that it made me want to get better. It was my job to pursue getting better in any avenue that I could by any means necessary in order to get in that ring and work a match and be good. And I really respect the hell out of that because it was something that it was just the way he said it. He said, hey kid, it's going to be a fucking cold day in hell before you get back in. And I can remember the way he looked, the tone that he had when he said it to me. And it just sticks inside my mind, Hunter. And sometimes we need that in our lives. We need somebody just to tell us the truth, no matter how hurtful it is, no matter how bad it is. We need somebody just to tell us the truth about the situation. Hey, kid, that suplex you took, if you don't turn your body just a certain way, you're going to break your elbow the next time you fall, or you're going to dislocate your shoulder. If you don't put your hand above your head, sometimes taking that German, you're going to break your neck. You got to do something to break your fall. And you just have to talk and be honest with people. So I know you've got stories. I'd like to hear them.
Well, I'll just say this on your last part. One of the best advice I ever got being newcomers, always want to wrestle people better than you.
Yeah.
That's the best way to learn. Wrestle people who are better. You don't think that your match with your friend that you came up with is the greatest match in the world. Because if you're only as good as the small pool you hang around, then you ain't going to be that good. You want to wrestle people who are better than you. And that's my thing. Is I'll admit, still get a little nervous when I get put with a bigger name. You know? But at the end of the day, that's the only way you get better. You got to wrestle somebody better. And there's those spots where like, man, I want to wrestle this guy. I want to wrestle this guy because I want to be better. At the end of the day, we all want to be better. You know, it sucks to say, but it's the truth. I know a lot of people want to get this business and they want to be the wrestler. They want to be the highlight. All wrestlers are marks, but not all marks are wrestlers.
That's very true. That's very, very true. I still consider myself to be a mark no matter what happens, is because we still go to all these conventions. We still go to all these shows. We still try to make sure that we're out there and we're in the public. And that's how you get notoriety with other things. I've never been anybody in this business. I will never be anybody in this business. But you know what I will be? I'll always be a fan of the business. I'll always be out there watching matches and taking care of the business the best I can. And I think that's where we come in as professionals in this business. Is if you're professional, you're going to do everything you can to make the business look better, no matter what, no matter who's in the ring, no matter who's doing what.
And even if, like, especially starting out, even as you're not wrestling, if you can go to a show and just walk up to them like, hey, I'm Green. I know I'm not on your show, but can I help set up chairs? Can I work your camera? You know, if you want me to help clean up, help set up the ring. I can't tell you how many times I want to help setting up the ring. How many, like, we used to do the show at the Chatterbox, right? We'd have call time I'd be there at 11 in the morning, getting ready to set up the ring. And I was there from 11 to 2, moving all their furniture, backing up the ring, and setting it up all the way up to about the boards. Now, I make the other guys do the pads and the ropes, but I'm like doing the whole thing by myself because nobody wanted to show up.
Right.
And it sucks because then I have to do my match, and then I got to do all the cleanup after, and then pack it down, and then put all the bar stuff back where it went. You know, that means a lot.
The first day that I was in classes, Harley came out and he said, "You kids want to be professional wrestlers?" And everybody's like, "Yeah." And he said, "It's called work, WORK, work. If you ain't got work ethic, you're not going to make it." He said, "Do you know how to set up a ring? We're going to learn today." I mean, that's how it was. Like, you learn how to, he didn't even put us in the ring for 2 weeks, you know? So that's just the way it was at that point in time. We had to learn that side of it and learn how to do it. And then that's helped me so much in moving from place to place to place to place. Is you don't realize how many people don't want to be there to either set up or tear down, or if they are there at set up or tear down, they don't want to do it. They just want to make it look good and make it look like they're doing something, and they want to get the hell out of there as quick as possible. Let me get my paycheck and let's leave. But the truth of it is if you're working, I've got to give my flowers out here to Rabbit Rogue. I've got to give it out to you. I've got to give it out to the Kazana boys. They are workhorses, man, inside this business. Daniel Jones is a workhorse inside this business as far as making sure that you're there on time, putting your stuff up, taking your stuff down. William Venable and Mr. McClure, our Hardcore McClure, always there to put the ring up, always there to take the ring down. They're the first ones in, the last ones out of the building every night. And those are the guys that you want to be around, because they're going to be the ones that are going to help you not only get booked at other shows, but they're going to help you learn why you put certain boards certain places, why the springs are the certain way. If you have an old spring ring, if you got the flat metal bar rings, then they're going to show you exactly where to put everything, why they've labeled it. If you've got to use your ratchet straps across it in, they're going to teach you all that stuff. And that's a good place to be inside this business. You're never too old to learn something new, and you're never too old to help with tearing it up and setting it up and putting it down, taking it down. So
Yeah, exactly. Like we had one kid who started with us. I want to say the kid because he's older than me. But this guy, I'm not going to name names because I want to keep everybody, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to piss anybody off. If you look at him, you would think he's nothing. He is extremely overweight. You'd think, this guy is just some fat kid who wants to be a wrestler. But he showed up. And even though he was tired, he's cleaned up. He had come early, set up the ring. When it came nightfall and the show was over and there's glass everywhere, stayed, cleaned it up. Next day, we're setting it back up at the shed to start for training. And he was there. And he set up, tear it down. He earned his way. Like, kid, and another thing, too, is a lot of people don't do this, is especially like some people who go through it, they don't get. I'm okay with like necessary bullying, I guess you'd call it. If you're a trainer, he's going to sit there and he's going to dog you. And I mean, when my trainers took a step back, go, Hunter, tell them, just teach them. I sat there and I dogged you on everything you did wrong because you're going to be told how terrible you are by everybody. But at the end of the day, if you can sit there and you can take it and you can show me up like you're not leaving, you're going to stand there and you're going to keep learning, I'll stand behind you. I'll fight somebody for you if I had to.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's one key thing is you're going to have to not only have a tough like physically and take the bumps, take the hits, you're going to be tough mentally and be able to stand up to somebody, because you don't know what's going to happen. I've been attacked by fans in the parking lot before. I've had fans like throw stuff at me, approach me with knives, all that stuff. If you're going to piss someone off, they're going to be pissed off at you, and you better be able to take it. Somebody's going to say something you don't want them to say, they're going to say it, and you're going to have to be able to like get back in their face and chew them out for it.
Speaking of that, I think it was 2005 or 2006. I borrowed my dad's truck. He had a 98 Dodge Ram, and my car had broken down. I took his truck to a show, and I was wrestling at the show. And during the match, they told me to take a steel chair, and hit him in the gut with it, then hit him in the back, and then they were going to DQ us, and we were going to be gone. That was going to be how it was. I didn't realize how much heat there was on there for just hitting him with that chair. And I came outside and we had a brick stuck in the side of his truck. Like a huge cylinder block was thrown and it was chunked into the side of the truck. So you don't realize sometimes you're going to make people mad in this business who are the best of fans in the world, really. And they want to kill you sometimes over stuff that you do. But my God, you just got to get over it. You got to be tough skinned. You got to get over it. And yeah, that hurt. Like me having to call my dad and going, Dad, I've got to tell you, something happened to your truck tonight and I'm going to have to claim insurance on it and we're going to have to get it fixed. That was pretty hard for me, but I'm still grateful to my dad that he allowed me the experience to go through that. But there's times where you don't know what's going to happen. I've had my tire sliced. I've had people meet you out there with pipes. I mean, they're ready to kill you sometimes. Yeah. So,
and I'll say this, going back to where I was saying, like, I'll go up the bat for you. I'll fight somebody if I had to, if you take it, After a year, this guy, of course, blew everybody out of proportion. I guess you call him a local star because he couldn't drive. So he'd had to have someone take him and 40 miler, I guess you'd say. But, he was happy with that. He was okay being the 40 miler. Guy gets divorced, right? We have a show, his ex-wife, like, freshly divorced, like 2 months older. His ex-wife shows up with a guy she cheated on him with, sits in the front row, making out with the guy.
Man.
And we looked at him, this is years. I like this guy. I consider him a friend now. And I was like, you going to say something to her? He goes, no, I don't want to say nothing because we're still going through the court and I don't want anything to get blown. I go, I just pat him back. Go, don't worry, guy. I got you. We were doing this Rumble. Everybody goes out but me. I wait till I'm last. And I talk, and it was my show. So as I walk out, I was look up. The sound guy knew what I was about to do. Hands me the mic. Now I walk around. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" To all the fans, staying right in front of the people, and I chew her out, and I tell her everything she's done wrong and why he's wrong, and that they're a piece of trash in front of everybody. And I ended off like, "You guys like that? Now watch me go win this match."
That's great. I've seen it turn the other way around though, where they brought their lovers to the show, and they're there to have a confrontation, either at the ring or outside waiting on you when you're getting done. I've seen that too, and that never turns out good. You always have to have extra backup. You got to have buddies, you got to have friends, you got to have people there because it can get nasty real quick. I've seen the police called. We were in Louisville, Kentucky one time, and I'm not going to mention the guy's name, but my God, Hunter, we called the Louisville police, and it took them 35 minutes to get to us. And people could have been dead. I mean, they were throwing rocks, they were stabbing, I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on. It was an all-out brawl in Louisville that night, and it could have been really bad. It took 35 minutes for them to get to us. So I've seen both sides of that. And I don't want to see it again, to be honest with you. Those are tough nights. Those are well-fought nights, but sometimes you just have to have tough skin. You have to get through stuff some way. You know, Roddy Piper used to wear his lined jackets. He'd have them lined with the metal lining on the inside of them like armor because he'd been stabbed so much. He got stabbed like 7 times. So, you know, you just figure out a way to survive.
Yeah.
All right, Hunter. I think we're at that point in the show where we need to talk about you. I mean, January 24th, you were at TPW, I believe, and you had a huge match going on there. What was going on?
No, that show got canceled. I'm sorry to say.
So no F's given didn't happen at all. I do apologize.
That did not happen due to weather.
Oh, man, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But you are scheduled February the 14th at Tennessee Legacy Wrestling at Rocky Mountain Community Center in 207 Jacksboro Avenue, Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Top Tennessee. Homecoming annual show, biggest show of the TLW card. I'm one half of the tag team champions and trying to find my other half of the tag team champion. Unfortunately, the faction I used to be a part of, the leader, Paul Buchanan, decided to call the police on my partner and have him completely trespassed from all local community and government buildings.
Oh. Well,
I don't have a tag partner right now.
Isn't that some crap? Well, I know somebody in another promotion who doesn't have a tag team partner right now, but he's a champion. And I'm sure if you made a phone call, you might be able to have a little dump truck come down and help you if you're interested.
An old dump truck.
Yeah, a good old
I was the first person to make him fly. You know
that? And fly he did. He looked like a squirrel.
I don't think anybody's ever picked up dump truck as many times as I have.
I the first time you did it with us there, his eyes got like that big because he wasn't expecting it at all.
Yeah.
Well, all tickets to that show that are going to be at Rocky Top Community Center are going to be $5. Kids under 5 are going to be free. If you want more info, you can go to facebook.com and search for Tennessee Legacy Wrestling. You want to do that right now. Doors are going to be opening at 6 p.m. for that show. The bell time is going to be at 7 p.m. for that show. Hey, Hunter, I wish you well. I hope you get your tag team partner. And like I said, I know, man, if you are interested, he needs a tag team partner too.
Well, I'll talk about it because I know he lives in North Carolina now. He doesn't live in Newport anymore.
No, he's moved on back up, but he might be willing to travel, especially since he's ready to do the old 50 states of.
That's right. He wants to run for president. Listen, if I could run for president, I'd run against him. I'm not old enough.
You think you'd be a better candidate?
Oh yes,
100% better.
Yes.
Oh, man.
I know how to spell my name properly.
You know how to spell your name properly? That's harsh. For somebody your tag team partner coming up, that's pretty harsh.
I think we've faced each other more times than we've been on the same side, so I think I can get away with that.
I think you could just a little bit. Hey, and I know that you're part of Explosive Pro Wrestling as well. And I know February 7th, they've got Jamie Noble going to be coming into the house to be there with them. If you guys want more information, you go to facebook.com and type in Explosive Pro Wrestling. It'll pop this up for you. So February 7th, 2026 at 122 Builders Court, right in Bowling Springs, South Carolina. You don't want to miss that. There's limited space available. Jamie Noble's going to be there. And Hunter Wolfe has been there in the past. Tell us about your experience with EPW.
I've only recently been there. I only have one current match there. And I know after that, due to the weather, especially this winter storm that's came through the southeast, they have been running a lot. And I live 3.5 hours away. And they run on Friday. So go in there, it's hit or miss with the shoot. But yeah, I like it there. I plan on doing some big things there. I plan on dominating there like I do everywhere else. That's the one thing you can guarantee when I'm at a place. I'm going to dominate no matter what I do. Absolutely. I'm the biggest, the baddest man in professional wrestling. I am the alpha male, Hunter Wolfe, alpha daddy, I guess, soon to become.
You're going to have you an alpha cub pretty soon, too. Well,
he's already big. He's already 2 weeks past his supposed to be size.
Wow, he's going to be huge. Well, Hunter, I know that you're looking for taking extra bookings. If anybody's interested out there, is it still hunterwolfprowrestling@gmail.com? Is that the best way to get in touch with you?
No, the best way to actually get hold of me is either through Facebook DMs or Instagram DMs. I don't really have access to a lot of my old emails anymore, even though I probably need to update. Yep. Go to that profile right there, click the message, and then send me a message about why you're interested in having me at your show. And I'll talk to you, and we can probably work something out.
Excellent. And Hunter, I know that in the future you're looking to do bigger and better things. Is there one specific championship that you would like to win?
You see, there's this big thing, it's about that big around, right? And a guy named CM Punk currently has it. I would love to take that off of him. But that's a whole process. I already had the WWE tryout. I already had the TNA tryout. I already had the NWA tryout. But yeah, that'd be great. If one of those go all the way through, dream is to work for WWE, of course. Yeah, that'd be the one that everybody wants. The one I want. I don't think there's any much more that I want. The only other belt in there is, of course, the undisputed one. That's held by, my favorite pro wrestler, Drew McIntyre. I know that's a very weird thing for people to say. I'm 27 years old. I was 7 when he debuted. Wow. So, yeah, think about that. Drew McIntyre debuted when I was 7. So, yeah, growing up, I watched him, kept up with him when he was Drew Galloway. Randy Orton was also, the first ever thing I ever saw with Monday Night Raw was him kicking Stephanie McMahon in the head.
Punted her.
That's a core memory. I was like, what just happened?
It broke all society norms.
Triple H handcuffed to the ring ropes. Randy Orton kicking Stephanie and then kissing her in front of her. I was like, what's going on here? And then I was hooked ever since.
Yeah, it makes a fan for life. That's why you said everybody's a mark, because we all are marks.
Yeah.
Speaking of shows, Angela Holiday, a.k.a. the Diamond Jesse, wants to know, when will you be back at See No Evil Wrestling?
I'd have to look through my schedule. We are so close to having our child. We're having 2 baby showers, and we had to cancel one recently due to the weather. Where we were going to have it was like a foot of snow, and the interstate was shut down, so we could not have her family because she's from another time zone. So we had to have 2 for her family and my family, and I'm just riding along with it. So it all depends on all that stuff. I have to look. I'm pretty sure I'm scheduled to be there in March because they run every 2 months. So I think that's right.
I believe so. I think you're right on the money there. Yeah. And Hunter, I'm going to give you last words. Would you like to say anything to anybody out there?
Shut up, Ryan. That's a good one. No, I am the biggest and baddest male man in professional wrestling. I am the alpha male Hunter Wolf. I have. Let me take you around here in case nobody believes. These are all my powerlifting medals. So, in case anybody doubts, I am that guy. And my martial arts trophies, which we may get into at another time. Tournament winners. Uh, So I am legit. I am the perfect combination of size, skill, and legitimacy. So if you want somebody that's an actual threat, somebody that's an actual dominant human being, someone who's an actual giant, me, uh, you can hit me up. I'll gladly destroy anybody you put in front of me.
Absolutely. Hunter Wolf, thank you for your time here tonight. Would you like to come back on? And would you like to come on River City Media pretty soon and talk?
Sure, why not?
We'll book you. We'll get you booked. Stick around after this and we'll have you on. So, guys, this is going to be the end of the show tonight. And I had a great guest here tonight with me. Hunter Wolf was here. He gave you lots of good insight, lots of great things that have happened in his life and where he's going to be in the future. You don't want to miss him coming up next. Hey, guys, thank you so much. And remember, you heard it right here first on Wrestle Talk with the Rad Beaver. Stick around, Hunter. Bye-bye.